I need you to think about the last thing you really wanted. Not just wanted, obsessed over. Maybe it was a job, a relationship, a number in your bank account, a body, an apartment. And you told yourself, once I get that, I'm done. I'll finally relax. I'll finally be happy. So tell me, did you get it? And how long did it last? A week? A month? Maybe less? Because something strange happens after we get what we want. The excitement quietly disappears, and before we even realize it, we've already moved the target. Again. This isn't a personal failing. It isn't weakness. It isn't greed. It's something far older than you. And a man figured it out over 2,000 years ago. His name was Epicurus. And before you zone out, he wasn't some dusty statue. He was someone who looked at the world and saw a pattern that nobody wanted to admit. He grew up with almost nothing. No wealth, no powerful family, no connections. And yet, he was surrounded by people who had all of those things and were still miserable. Men who had built empires, who owned land that stretched beyond the horizon, who had armies, wealth, power, and spent every waking hour terrified of losing it. He watched them, and he asked a question that almost nobody asks. Why does having more never feel like enough? And after years of watching and thinking and living, he wrote something that I think might be the most honest line ever put to paper. He said, "The wealth required by nature is limited and easy to obtain, but the wealth required by vain ideals extends to infinity." Read that again slowly. Nature's needs, food, shelter, real friendship, rest, are small, reachable, satisfying. But the needs created by comparison, by ego, by the idea that you should have more than you do, those have no ceiling, no finish line, no end. Modern psychology eventually caught up to what Epicurus already knew. They gave it a name, the hedonic treadmill. The idea is simple and brutal. You get the raise. You feel incredible. For a while. You get the new phone. You love it. For a while. You hit the goal. You're proud. For a while. Then your brain recalibrates, and what used to feel extraordinary becomes ordinary, and you're back on the treadmill, running harder toward the next thing. Here's what makes this dangerous. It's invisible. Nobody wakes up and thinks, I've decided to make my happiness dependent on things I don't have yet. It happens quietly, through comparison, through the feed, through watching what everyone else is doing and feeling this low, constant hum of not quite enough. There's always someone with a bigger apartment, a better body, more followers, a more impressive life. And every time you compare, the target moves. What was once a dream becomes an expectation. What was once enough becomes ordinary. What was once a blessing becomes invisible. This is why so many people today aren't depressed because their lives are bad. They're dissatisfied because they can no longer see what's good about the life they already have. Now, I'm not going to tell you to stop wanting things. That's not the point. Ambition isn't the problem. Growth isn't the problem. The problem is the belief that your happiness is stored somewhere in the future, waiting for you to earn it. The Stoics understood this too. They said peace doesn't come from controlling your circumstances, because circumstances are unstable. Money can disappear, status can vanish, reputation can be gone overnight. But certain things can't be taken from you. Who you're becoming, how you treat people, the quality of your attention, the depth of your relationships, the ability to be present in your own life. Those are the only forms of wealth nobody can take. And here's the thing Epicurus figured out that took the rest of us centuries to catch up to. Enough is a decision, not a number, not a bank balance, not a milestone, a decision. The world profits from convincing you that you're incomplete, that you need one more thing, one more upgrade, one more version of yourself before you deserve to feel at peace. But that peace was never waiting in the next thing. It was always here. You just couldn't see it through all the noise. So I want to leave you with one question. Not a task, not a challenge, just an honest question to sit with. If nothing in your life changed, if your bank account stayed the same, your job stayed the same, your body stayed the same, would you be okay? Not happy about it, just okay. Because if the answer is no, it might not be your circumstances that need fixing. It might be the story you're telling yourself about what your life is supposed to look like. The man who has everything and feels nothing, he's not living a worse life than you think. He's living the life that all of us are quietly afraid of. A life where we finally get what we wanted and discover it was never what we needed. Epicurus figured this out in a small garden outside Athens. No money, no status, just time and thought and the people he loved. And he said he had everything. Maybe the richest person you'll ever meet isn't the one with the most. Maybe it's the one who looked at their life, the ordinary, imperfect, sometimes painful life they already have, and decided, this is enough. Not because they gave up, but because they woke up.